This
We need to
conference will now be recorded.
join there at a temple, they mentioned. But anyways, we are good to continue. They will listen the recorded video. Okay. As a first module here, and I mentioned it as a visualizations. And the first visualization that we are going to see is card visualization. Card visualization. So here you have an option called card. So this is one of the visualization by using which you are going to represent a single number. You are going to represent a single number here. Like if you want to observe, let me remove all the transformations that we performed so that we are going to get a more data. Okay. So now if you want to represent a single value, an aggregated value, at that time, card visualization is going to be used. So if you want to understand what is the overall sales, you can use that card visualization. Or if you want to see what is the overall profit, you can use the card visualization. Or if you want to understand what are the overall number of countries that you are making as sales, you can represent a count here or count distinct here. So single value you can represent here. If you want to add a profit at a sales also, that is not possible. Only one value can be represented. One aggregated value, one overall value will be represented by using a card visualization. So if you want to understand or if you want to represent a single value, you are going to use a card. If you try to add a one more value, the old value will be removed, the new value will be placed. Now, that is the purpose of card visualization. So one overall value we are going to represent, aggregated value. Now, whenever you create a visualization, whenever you pass the inputs here, there is a one more window called format. This format is nothing but it will allow you to make some changes to that visualization. Now, you have under a format two sections are there: visual, general. Visual, like we are going to cover all visual properties for each and every visualization. General properties are common for all the visuals. Same general properties will be there. At the end, general will be covered. So visual properties are specific for that specific visual. Now, I created a card visualization and I'm providing a callout value. Like we have a two properties. One is callout value. Callout value is nothing but this number. Okay. So now, if I want to change the font size, I can change the font size. If I want to make that as a bold, I can make a bold. And if I want to make that as a underline, I can add that. Italic, I sorry, italic, I can make, or underline, I can make. Color, if I want to change any color, you can change it. Display units auto, which means automatically based on the data value it is going to represent in the form of a like a millions or billions or trillions. So if you mention it as a none, the overall value will be displayed. If you mention as a thousand, the value will be represented in a thousand. If you mention in a billions, it is going to represent in a millions. If you mention in a billions, it will be represented in billions. So automatically going to update the value in the form of a millions or billions or trillions. The next one is text to wrapping. Text to wrapping and source spacing, it will not work for this visual. You can ignore it. Okay, you can ignore it. On or off, both will be same. So these are the options that we have. Call out value. But these properties will work for a table visualization we are going to observe. The next one is category label. A category label is nothing but whatever you observe here, sum of sales. If you want to like format this one, or if you don't want that, disable. If you want enable, then after you can specify the font size here. You can specify the font size here. You can change the font family here, and you can change the color here. So these are the settings associated with a card visualization. So whenever if you want to represent a overall value, summary value, at the time, like we are going to use this card visual. By using that, we are going to represent a overall summary, how many units sold, and what is the price you can represent. So these are the properties associated with a card visual and the functionality of a card visual. Any questions on the card visual, Ashwini? If you have a question, unmute and proceed. If you don't have a question, mention no in chat.
Mm. No, sir. No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir. No.
Okay, fine. The next one is pie chart visualization. So you have a pie chart here. This pie chart we use to observe like TVs, newspapers, everywhere, wherever the reports are there. Generally, pie chart will be we used to observe. So, what is the purpose or when to use a pie chart is pie chart has the capability to represent percentage of a share automatically. So pie chart has that feature that it automatically calculates the percentage of a share. What do you mean by that one is, if you observe here, like if you observe here, like United States, Canada, France, Germany, Mexico. Like here, it is the overall value. United States is having around 25 million. So if we want to understand what is the United States of America share in the overall value, how much US is contributing with the overall value, if you want to understand, we need to perform a calculation. But whenever you use a pie chart, that automatically come, which is nothing but country sales. If I make, you can observe that 21.08 percentage is contributing United States against a overall value. So whenever you want to represent this kind of percentage of a share, this value is how much in a overall value, that is what a percentage of share. Okay, so if you want to calculate the percentage of share automatically, then pie chart is the best visual. Here without any calculation, only visual itself is going to make. Now now I am creating one pie chart and I am making country and a sales. As mentioned, percentage of share came. Now here you can observe few properties are there. One is a legend, the second one is a values, the third one is a details, fourth one is a tooltip. Tooltip, whenever you added or whatever you added, that is not going to change your visual UI. That is not going to change your user interface of a visual. That is going to come only whenever you mouse over. Whenever you mouse over, you are going to see. If I remove these two, you are going to observe the country, sum of sales, country, sum of sales, country, sum of sales. You are seeing that one. But whenever you add units sold here. Whenever you add profit here and a mouse over, you are able to observe all these options. All these options. So that is what tooltip is. If you add anything on tooltip, that will not change your visual UI, but whenever you mouse over, it is going to represent that value. Now, till here, are you able to understand what is a pie chart? I will go for that properties and I will go for this one details. But before going to details, like, are you able to understand what is a pie chart so far, Ashwini?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, we have an option called details. Whenever we add a details, what is going to happen is, like, currently I add a segment as a detail, which is nothing but each country each country is divided into segment wise. Now if we observe, like, whatever the 5 or 6 segments that we have, those are came everywhere. Now here segment is enterprise. Here also we have 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 enterprise. So each country is divided into segment wise and we can observe the data. That is okay. Now, the percentage that you are observing is across all countries, across all segments, which is nothing but, if you observe this one 8.39, which is a government segment, which is saying that 7.07%, which is nothing but this 8390746 value, this specific portion value towards a overall value, it is a 7.07 percentage. That is what the story is. So now these are the inputs that you can provide for a pie chart. These are the inputs that you can provide for a pie chart. Now, after displaying this visual, business have a requirement that, but we don't want this percentage to be displayed against all the countries and all the segments. Only consider this part. In this specific part, what is this percentage? I want that one. So within that specific country, what is the percentage of share for each segment inside that country? I want to know that. Power BI cannot do that. That Power BI cannot provide that one. For that, what you need to do is, you have a one more visual called 100% stacked column chart. So whenever you use it, at that time you are going to get each country as a 100% value. Each country has a 100% value. Under that, each segment, what is the percentage of share, it is going to showcase. But whenever you use a pie chart, this percentage is across all the countries, all the segments only. If you are looking for a country level percentage of a share, you need to go to 100% stacked bar. Are you able to understand the difference between what I am referring with a pie chart and 100% stacked bar chart, Ashwini?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can understand.
ఓకే. సో ఇక్కడ పై చార్ట్ వాడితేనేమో ఈ స్పెసిఫిక్ కేటగిరీ వాల్యూ అనేది దీని ఓవరాల్ వాల్యూలో ఎంత పర్సెంటో చూపించింది. కాదు, ఈ స్పెసిఫిక్ కంట్రీలోనే దీని వాల్యూ ఎంత, దీని ఓవరాల్ వాల్యూలో దీని వాల్యూ ఎంతో చూపించాలి అంటే అది పై చార్ట్లో కుదరదు. దానికి 100% స్టాక్డ్ బార్ we need to use. So now let's focus on pie chart again. So I added a country, I added a sales segment, I added tooltip, I added. These are the inputs that I can provide. This is how it is going to come. Now let's go to settings. As I mentioned, general we are going to cover later. Visual, here legend, you want to enable or disable. Legend means this one, what color, what value. We have some description here. If you don't want, disable. If you want, enable. If you enable, where you want to place? Top center, bottom center, bottom left, bottom right. You can provide anywhere. Center right, you can provide anywhere. Center left, so you can place anywhere. After providing that, what is the color that you want to represent? You can change it. Okay. Then after, what is the font color? What is the font family? You want to make it bold, italic, underline, you can provide it. So legend you want to enable, disable. After enable, where you want to place, what is the font size, font color, and a title. Title is nothing but this country. If you don't want, you can remove it. If you want, you can enable it, and you can mention countries. You can mention, or you can mention any name. Okay, so based on your interest, that will come there. So these are the options under legend. Now, slices. Slices is nothing but this part. Each part is a one slice. If you want to change the color, you can change the color here. Based on your interest, you can change the color. It can be interest or based on the customer requirement. You can change the color. The slices is nothing but for changing the color. Then after, detailed labels or data labels is nothing but the values that you are able to see. I'm just disabling it. And if you want, you can enable. Whenever you enable, you have an option called outside or inside. Inside means inside that visual you are going to display. Outside means outside. Prefer inside, prefer outside. So based on the number of categories that we are having here, it is going to arrange overflow text on. So which means whenever you have now currently 1 2 3 4 5 are there, there may be a chance you have 20. At that time, how it is going to display one top of another you want or not, you can enable or disable. And label connect contents. Currently what we are having is what is the value and what is the percentage that we are representing here, and what is the value and what is the percentage that we are representing here. And if you want to represent only category name, you can use a category name. And if you want to represent only value, you can select a value. If you want only percentage of total, these all percentages together, it is going to be 100%. And category value, category percentage, data value percentage, all. So overall three things that we are going to represent. One is a like a category, the second one is a value, the third one is percent. Then after you have a combination also, category value, category percent, value percent, you can represent. Then after you have all the details also, like name, value, percentage you are going to get. By default, whenever you create a pie chart, by default, whenever we create a pie chart, it is going to be there in a clockwise direction, descending order, which means United States 21.08, 20.96, 20.51, 19.8, 17.65. We are not represented this in a descending order manually. Whenever you create a visual, automatically it was created in a descending order. Observe here, 44, 35, 16 to 1.52. So it is clockwise direction. But if you want to change that one, like where to start, like 90 degrees. If I mention 90, from here it's going to be clockwise direction. If I mention 180, from here it's like that. You can specify wherever you want. These are the properties associated with pie chart and pie chart. Pie chart will be used whenever you are in a need to represent a percentage of a share. So without any calculation, automatically the visual is going to represent your value with respect to 100% of share. And you can add a tooltip or you can add a details also that is going to subdivide across all the categories. And these are the properties that we have with a pie chart. Now, now we have a donut chart. Donut chart also, the purpose is same. Like same, I'm adding a sales. You can observe like there is a circle came kind of a donut, and the remaining details, like even if you add a segment, if you add a tooltip, everything is same. The only difference is like after legend slices, there is an option called spacing. Only one option called spacing. If the inner radius is 0, that is a pie chart. If the inner radius is something other than 0, that is a donut chart. So you can represent like this. And inside that, you can add your value by using a card visualization, which means that, so observe here, like I said that 25%, 21% is United States, 20% Canada. Out of what? Out of 11873 million. Like 25 million is United States value. The overall value is this one. So 25 by 118, which is nothing but a 21%. Okay. So you can use this space for other purposes. Rest remaining all are same. Like whenever you go to this specific slice and whenever you mention a spacing as 0, that is a pie chart. If you remove that space, that is going to be a donut chart. That's it. There is no other difference. Okay. This is all about a card visualization, pie chart, and donut chart. And from here, we'll continue in the next session. As I mentioned, next 4 to 5 days we cover visualizations only. Tomorrow we'll connect at 9 on the same meeting link. Till here, any questions, Ashwini?
No, sir, no.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much for joining. Naresh will share this video. Have a good day. Bye now.